All right, welcome to another episode of the Growth Insider. Today I'm super excited because we have Sid, the founder and CEO of Intempt. They're one of the fastest growing technology companies focused primarily on building AI agents for marketing, sales, and product. He's got a lot of cool stuff to share, very interesting background working at companies like Adobe. So he's going to kind of dive into what the company's doing for growth, where he sees the AI space going in the next, year or two, and kind of some tips and strategies for scaling your company with less overhead using artificial intelligence. So, hope that was a decent intro there, but I'd love for you to just kind of jump in and give a little bit more of a background on your career and entrepreneurial journey before we kind of dive into the company.
Yeah, sure, Austin. Listen, thanks for having me. Um, Pleasure to be on your show, man. Um, yeah, sure. I mean, I've got a pretty straightforward background in some sense. I mean, I'm a computer scientist, software engineer from UC Berkeley, and I worked for a bunch of companies in the Bay Area. So, Adobe being, obviously most relevant experience because of marketing tech and so on. But really was working in content management technology and personalization technology when it was, pretty nascent, pretty simple stuff. Um, and so yeah, been I'm a builder, a product guy, first and foremost. And yeah, finding my legs around growing a company and helping other companies grow as well. So,
Amazing. So why don't we start with I want to hear a little bit of kind of your explanation of what the company does and what problem you guys are solving.
yeah, sure. So when it comes to um, growing your customers, which is we really make it easier for you to grow your customers. Now you can't grow your customers if your marketing team, your sales team, and your product team are not looking at the same picture. We see marketing teams all the time that have a large number of tools that are usually channel specific. We see sales teams working leads, they're ignoring marketing and working their own leads. And product, it builds a bunch of features and ships a lot, but nobody knows what exactly is working and what's just um, what's not. So I think we built Intempt's Growth OS to was one platform that unifies marketing, sales, and product teams, on a single data surface, so that they can um, have the same picture by which they optimize the business. So um, we that's the fundamental basis that we use to have companies grow on our platform. And then now, we're super excited to announce Noah, which is our AI coworker, is what we're calling it. That helps you do a lot of the grunt work in marketing, sales, and product operations that I think prevents you from doing the work to, um, you know, grow your customers using data. So that's, and previously this was obviously unimaginable. I think the biggest barrier to SaaS tools is actually adoption of tooling. And the biggest barrier to that is educating marketers, sellers, and product people to use these tools that have become increasingly complex over time. So yeah, LLMs have allowed us to build an AI coworker, and we're fondly calling the coworker Noah. So that's yeah, that's kind of a brief background to me, a brief um, reason for the company to exist, and Noah, yeah.
Very nice. So for Noah and what you guys are building there, when you say the grunt work of sales and marketing, what are sales and marketing people in companies or even, higher level executives and stuff wasting time on that you're pretty much removing with your technology?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like let's take an example of a a simple a SaaS company these days. They've got, some of them don't have CRMs, but if they do, they've got, HubSpot, and they've got a data set there. They've got their website, and they've got, like, a direct data set there. And they've got their, usually SaaS companies have a console, or have some sort of application console where a lot of their existing customers and users, operate daily, and they've got a data set there. Unifying, just if you, and I'm excluding, most SaaS companies have have a customer profile that's a lot more fragmented than that. But even if you just look at your CRM data set, your website data set, and your app data set, unifying these data sets, and then being able to take these data sources and create unified segmentation that deduplicates and segments a user across these data sets, to get an accurate view of targeting downstream, is not trivial. It's still not trivial today. Um, so, can you have an AI agent help with defining events accurately? Can you have them help with defining segments or cohorts accurately? And then can you have them take it a step further and then create your onboarding journeys, or your welcome journeys, your reactivation flows, your churn prevention journeys, um, without having marketers and engineers, and very often customer success people, having to do all of this work, is I think a natural progression for the space, and for us.
Yeah, I mean, you just explained like four employees that are maybe not gone, but like eventually that is kind of the future with not just what you're building, but a lot of the LLMs, the new MarTech and RevTech that's coming out almost like every single week now. Um, what's your view on that? Like, where do these like AI agents or like AI coworkers or even just full platforms fit into a business now? Because I think one of the problems that's going to happen is a lot of, founders, CEOs, executives are going to be really excited about technology like yours and maybe implement too much of it all at once without mapping out specifically what they need done in the business. So how does your technology kind of like make sure that when someone implements it, um, it's being like it's serving a specific purpose and it's not just kind of technology bloat, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, first of all, I think, um, let's pull back sort of the activities in marketing for a second. Let's continue with the example of a SaaS company, a product-led SaaS company that takes users, and kind of puts them through some sort of a land and then expand motion into, either onboarding more users or onboarding the account, right? So
Hmm.
let's take an example of a pretty classic product-led motion. Um, Most SaaS companies that I speak to are not don't have. I don't think this is a question of, um, reducing your workforce, because they simply don't have employees that are doing analytics practice thoroughly, for example, right? So
Hmm.
by that I mean doing defining funnels, and looking at and funnel reports correctly, looking at your cohort retention correctly, looking at individual, um, events, or segments, and how they differ in behavior on their website and their app. They don't have an analytics professional on staff that's doing this. Usually, a product manager is doing this in kind of their spare time, right? Which is minimal. Um, it, then let's look at running basic A/B testing and experimentation and personalization flows on their website or their apps. Not happening today. They don't have a experimentation professional, on staff. And then even if we take a look at, forget about analytics or experimentation, let's just take a look at your welcome journeys, or your reactivation journeys, or your onboarding journeys. These are extremely minimal. We see very simple, MailChimp campaigns, um, at best here in this space. So um, I think SaaS companies today are not employing um, large marketing teams or even significant marketing teams that have significant talent density to be able to do these activities. So analytics, experimentation, customer journeys, and they're doing um, you know simple stuff that they can do kind of out of the box with some of these SaaS tools, right? So I think when you take a marketing team of 5 people, that should be 5 people, including data people and customer journey people and experimentation folks. When you take those people and you're going to reduce it to allowing a what we call a full stack marketer or more of a life cycle marketer to be able to run that type of marketing operation solo with the assistance of Noah, a co-marketer. I think this is extremely compelling to help most SaaS companies just do bare minimum solid life cycle marketing, right?
Yeah,
Which was certainly just not happening in the past, or just happening when companies reached 10 million or 20 million in ARR, and they could afford 5 to 10 people in their marketing team doing stuff like this, right?
yeah,
So we see a lot of early stage teams be able to now attack this type of marketing practices, whereas previously it was just there's no time for it. So I don't think we're at that point yet where, and by the way, we work very deeply, very closely with LLMs. I think we're nowhere near the point of frankly, getting rid of staff. I think LLMs are pretty primitive. I think AGI is a ways away. And I think we definitely are, though, at the point where smaller teams can use SaaS products to grow faster and stay profitable. So that's where I think the excitement and the opportunity is for Intempt, for Growth OS, for Noah and the AI agent stuff we're building. And I think that's what I hope a lot of marketers, sellers, and product people start to do, which is they're sitting on a gold mine of data, activate it and monetize it, with the help of AI agents.
amazing. So it's kind of democratizing the full life cycle marketing that larger companies are experts at, but you can do it at any stage with smaller teams, which is like incredibly powerful and very valuable. Um, so I'm
Yeah,
curious if,
absolutely. And Austin, just real quick to add there, like right now we live in a time where customer acquisition, so acquiring new customers, is probably been harder than ever, with SEO, becoming its new version. Um, we're living in this twilight zone of customer acquisition. I feel like, where we haven't understood how to acquire customers off of LLMs, and search traffic's fallen off, right? So we're living in this twilight zone. And while we are here, I think that maximizing the opportunity with the customers that you're able to acquire. So from a conversion perspective and a um, lifetime value perspective is paramount. So I think companies should be paying a lot more attention to life cycle and LTV, since CAC is going to rise for a while before we've found our new happy place with LLM powered acquisition.
yeah, that's a really good point. I know it kind of comes to like the biggest pain point of, probably everyone watching this is just acquiring customers, doing high quality marketing, making sure that your sales is figured out. Like obviously your platform makes that a lot easier for a lot of different types of businesses. But when it comes to your company and just insights that you can share, what has been a couple hacks that have just worked really well for you to acquire new customers?
Yeah, yeah. So um, sure. So, so, and at the risk of sounding like simple, I can tell you a couple of things that are working for us right now. One is video. Um, I think that there's definitely a strong opportunity in video. And what's been really interesting for us is that we continue to experiment with several different formats for video. And I think the jury's still out, and I'll let you know in a few months. But I think that there's a unique opportunity in YouTube, being able to understand YouTube video as a SaaS company. YouTubers have done it for forever, but as a SaaS company, being able to understand YouTube video, both regular and shorts, I think that's a unique opportunity. And the second opportunity, I think, is being able to use. Um, we're using N8N automations to do it, but being able to use kind of N8N, like an N8N type automation to auto generate um, video for Instagram. I mean, we're not doing TikTok yet, but we've started to look at auto generating video for Instagram. And I think that holds a lot of promise. And there's two types of videos here that we're experimenting with. One is um, a video that is automatically generated based on the AI news of the week, the GTM AI news of the week. So we're experimenting with that campaign. So how do you take like uh, an N8N workflow that goes and pulls the trending AI news for the week, and then be able to actually create from that, being able to use. We're experimenting with a few different video models, but being able to use the video models, by that I mean the video AI models, to be able to generate clips. So an image and then a quick short animation of that image. So,
Hmm.
think about generating an image through ChatGPT or another image generator, and then using Kling or Runway to slightly animate the image. And then being able to use a stitcher like FFmpeg or another stitcher to be able to stitch these stills into an animated video, all automatically using with very little manual editing required, to be able to then generate uh, signups through a ManyChat attached to an Instagram. So I'm not calling this. I haven't cracked the code on this yet, but I'm just telling you stuff that we're playing with. We think YouTube is just regular video over YouTube is still an untapped opportunity that definitely has legs. And then there's perhaps be able to figure out a way to generate Instagrammable videos that are still smart enough um, and informative enough, but are fully generated using AI.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's something where, everyone's has gone very hard on cold email when it comes to like auto-generated stuff and using AI and all the amazing tools that are out there for that. Um, but there's probably much or many like fewer companies that are kind of diving into how do we use video, image, socials, still plugging in things like N8N and automation to speed up that process. Because it's really powerful because technically those leads that are coming to you are a little bit more inbound or at least semi-inbound, which is more powerful for the sales cycle later on, and people are going to want to buy more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, we struggle with this a lot. And we still struggle with it. But I've chosen to make the decision to really double down on video and inbound, more than outbound, at the risk of growing slower, frankly. Because yes, you can go and hit your TAM. I think signals. There's a lot of talk about signals based outbound. So using the social signals on LinkedIn, and Reddit and so on. There's a lot of talk about that. I think There's a lot of interesting entrepreneurs I know right now that are doing some very good work on building Reddit automation tools. I think Reddit's definitely looking up in terms of search traffic, um, yeah, like search traffic going to Reddit. So I think um, I think that probably is an opportunity on Reddit. We're not doing anything yet there that's but we're aware of it. Um, but in generally speaking, I think signals-based outbound may have better reply rates than outbound, but I think that it's still within the realm of outbound, frankly, where you just
Mhm.
happen to see someone with some activity on Reddit or LinkedIn that has ICP fit, and you went out and emailed them instead of going totally cold. But I
Yep.
still think that's approximating the reply rates of outbound. And with deliverability taking a hit, I think the bet that we want to make right now is more video and still sticking to our inbound routes until we see something that's um, just more just easier on the outbound side, frankly.
Yeah,
It just feels like we're going to stick to the startup way, which is communicate more on video and have folks that show activity on our website and apps, and then follow up with them.
for sure. So, last couple questions I have for you, like what is the kind of big goal for the company? Like where are you guys trying to go other than, launching the new Noah feature? Like what's the long-term vision?
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, it's a tough question to answer because I think that the vision that I've laid out at the moment, I feel is accurate for us to build, a generational company, or is accurate for many years to come. So I don't predict. So first of all, the vision around unifying marketing, sales, and product teams around a unified data set to do marketing, sales, and product workflows, I think to me is a permanent vision. I think what's dramatically changed over the last 18 months is that um, the starting point using of this workflow is AI. The starting point of this workflow is not, let me go to a data scientist, pull together all of the data, deduplicate it, and manually like code all of my events and try to get a data set that I can actually operate powerfully out of. The starting point has become an AI coworker that gets me, to what ChatGPT does today, which is it gets you kind of to what 50% of your job or 60% of your job, and then you got to do the rest of it, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's a dramatic shift, and so it does almost feel like we're inventing the workflows in our growth OS and Intempt's growth OS from scratch because of it. And I think that's kind of where a lot of the next few years of work for us, and I think many SaaS companies will be, is that how do you build for an AI first world? When a lot of the product paradigms around this stuff, around CRMs, around CDPs, around journey systems, experimentation systems have all been very much the starting point's been very different. It's been, looking at analytical reports and trying to figure out, where I should run an experiment. Well, AI can tell you where you should run an experiment. So, which makes a lot of the previous analytical workflows obsolete, frankly. So
Yeah.
I think this is the vision, the plan for the next several years of the company. And I was telling someone else that, like, for a lot of us in MarTech and sales tech, like it's a super exciting time to be a founder again. It's almost like you have to come back into your companies and rebuild them, because a lot of the assumptions that you built the first version of your platforms on are gone. So it's like, you're Willy Wonka and like the chocolate factory again, where you're like, the founders, you can play again because, the rules have just dramatically changed. So, I think the martech, sales tech, product tech, is not mature anymore. It's kind of going back to its key assumptions, and we're going to see fantastic products come out within the next 3 to 10 years, as OpenAI and Anthropic like mature. It's just going to lift these
Yeah,
products to another level. So, my suggestion to anyone building out there and building companies and growing them, would be to embrace LLMs, because this is the rising tide that will lift all boats. That's where that's kind of how you want to be thinking right now.
absolutely. Um, so where can people find out more about your company? Where can they connect with you? Where can they work with you for anyone listening?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Austin. So yeah, we're intempt.com, intempt.com. I'm Sid Chaudhary. You can find me on LinkedIn at slash Sid Chaudhary. You can probably Google that, and it'll spell correct it for you. Or you can yeah, I think that's probably it. I'm not super active on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter as well. But LinkedIn and yeah, intempt.com, and you know how to get a hold of me. Not that hard.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing a lot of insights into how to grow companies, what you guys are doing, how your business and platform can help other businesses. So anyone listening, I'm sure got a lot of value from it. Appreciate it.
Oh, we'll hope so. And I'm always happy to talk to builders in the space. So yeah, hit me up, and I'm always down to exchange ideas.
Awesome. Thank you.